Hi. So I have connected with some of our yoga teachers, our YogaPoint yoga teachers, to ask them their experiences that they've had with Yoga Nidra or that their students have had with Yoga Nidra. So this is just a short collection of a few stories just for your interest. So here we've got Veena. So I got introduced to Yoga Nidra when I enrolled for the pre and postnatal course at YogaPoint, and only Yoga Nidra helped me to heal my hiatus hernia when I could not practice yoga at all. I realized many lessons in Yoga Nidra which I couldn't while practicing regular yoga asanas. All our problems, sorrows, frustration, psychosomatic issues, everything is deeply rooted in our subconscious mind. And only Yoga Nidra can initiate self-healing from inside, which reflects in your physical and mental well-being. Now I'm totally recovered and understood the real essence of yoga. So that is very true. I feel that Yoga Nidra is one of the main tools that we can use to really go deep inside. Practicing asana is not going to have anywhere near the same effect that the practice of a specialized Yoga Nidra is going to have. Next we have Nitin. Hariom, I did my TTC and Positive Yoga Psychology course from Yoga Gurukul. I used Yoga Nidra with patients who suffer from mental health problems. It's helped them a lot to create new mental patterns, and it's also helped them to look at their problems with a new perspective. And that, I think, is a really, really important part as well, because many times those who do have mental health issues, they do find it hard to see from another perspective, or to even observe things as a witness. And that is something that Yoga Nidra is really helpful with. We've got Shanti. Yoga Nidra really works. So the first one, I had a client whose mum passed away and she couldn't eat or sleep well. She only slept for maximum 2 hours at night. After a week of suffering, she tried Yoga Nidra. The next day she called me. She said she slept for 8 hours that night, and that's amazing. And the second one, a person suffered from insomnia for a year and was consuming prescribed sleeping pills on a daily basis. And after they joined her Yoga Nidra class, she can finally sleep well, which is so much better than a sleeping pill. And the third one, a person suffering from heart disease and GERD or gastroesophageal reflux disease came to me. After Yoga Nidra, she says she feels much better. Some COVID patients tried Yoga Nidra to boost their immune system, and it worked. So from her own experience, Yoga Nidra has helped her to feel more relaxed during her hectic day. And here we've got an anonymous one. So this person has been dealing with a lot of problems recently, and a lot of negativity and a lot of strong depression. So we recommended this person to do a lot of Yoga Nidras. So here you can see a little bit. So I've done Yoga Nidra 8 times today. During especially the last 4 times practice, I felt some negative emotions arise such as sadness, fear, regret, and irritation and anger. Actually, they are usual feelings for those days. In the daytime activity, I felt positive energy, which I don't feel often nowadays. So after he did this for those 8 times, he said, what shall I do now? Should I be continuing with it? Or should I be stopping it? And, shouldn't I be feeling much better by now? And of course, some positive energy was starting to come, but the negative emotions were definitely there because they've been inside for a long time. So see the next bit. The next day, I've done Yoga Nidra 6 times today. In one of the Yoga Nidras, I had a clear memory of my school time when I felt sad and lonely. Is this my emotions coming out? So I left it there because this kind of thing is going to be there. Now, this person to start with was not very ready to do a lot of yoga nidra because a lot of fear was there. And the issues that this person had been facing was for a long time, since childhood. And yoga nidra does go to the childhood. So like you see here, that memory of school time, and that was when the things started to happen. So yoga nidra, because he has been doing it in such a full-on form, like so many repetitions each day, it is starting to pull those things out. And yes, not everyone is ready for that, and he is finding it a little difficult, but it's cleansing. And knowing that it's cleansing and helping is really, really powerful. So we'll see what continues to happen with this, but it's definitely shifting a lot of things inside. Then we have Akruti. Yoga Nidra for me is a complete melt-in process of instant recovery. I got jaundice 2 months back, and there's been days when my body felt so fatigued, tired, and sometimes pain in different parts of my body, and the only way I've been able to cope up with it is with Yoga Nidra. It gives my body instant relaxation and makes me feel refreshed. I'm always amazed after practicing Yoga Nidra at how, without making efforts, without taking any pills, sometimes you can feel so much more energetic. It gives your body the deepest rest that it craves for when sometimes we're so busy ignoring and pushing ourselves in this busy life. 40 to 60 minutes with Yoga Nidra is a complete process of self-healing that you can give to yourself. Being a yoga teacher myself, if I feel tired with classes or in the day you're low on energy, my escape is to Yoga Nidra always, and there's a sudden boost to my mood and energy level. It can heal you physically, mentally, and emotionally. That's the power of Yoga Nidra. Hariom. So we know this. It's really nice to see, and it's also a reminder for yoga teachers, because yoga teachers also have a tendency to sometimes do too many things, teach too many classes, take on a lot of things from others as well, if we're not careful. So it's important to keep that balance by doing Yoga Nidra. And of course, Yoga Nidra is one of the most effective techniques when we are having a major health crisis or some health issues, some sickness. Yoga Nidra is one of the most helpful ones to speed up the healing process. And we have one of Akriti's students, Uma. So Yoga Nidra is the secret of self-healing. I practiced Yoga Nidra by Akriti in Yoga Nidra session. It supported my mental health and relaxed the muscles and cleared my mind space. This is very nice to heal mentally, physically, and spiritually. And here we have Joanne. I was doing a Yoga Nidra here for 2 elderly ladies who had no experience of it before. One of the ladies, Afifa, had no English, and the instructions had to be translated for her. During the practice, I noticed Afifa moving her toes a lot, and when it was over, I asked the translator why she was doing that, as I had instructed her to keep still. Afifa said she felt her body was being paralyzed, don't get shocked everyone, and needed to check that she could still move it. She also said that during the practice, she felt like she was floating on a waterbed. The visualization of the practice I used that day was seeing the chakras of the body lying on a giant lotus leaf in the center of a pond. I thought it was a perfect example of how language doesn't matter and that Yoga Nidra speaks directly to the subconscious. After getting over her fear of not being able to move, she loved it. And that is also a thing you notice sometimes in Yoga Nidras, that people feel that they can't move because they're in such a relaxed state. They're feeling that they're not really even connecting, especially when they're in that really sleepy state, that they're not really connecting with their body anymore, that they've separated. And the other thing that's always interesting is that now she did have some translation, but it's not the same. But still, people can understand what is going on with the Yoga Nidra, even if they only understand a few of the words. So it's really important. Okay, we've got Shraddha. So she's got a few cases here. So a student of mine, 40 years old, met with an accident at the age of 20. At that time, she was with her sister, who was 22, who was driving. In that accident, her sister was severely injured, but this student had only a few scratches. She was in the hospital room with her sister all alone till her family could reach and observed her pass away slowly. This trauma has long been forgotten, but they're somewhere in the subconscious. When she practiced Yoga Nidra for the first time, we came to the spot where we think of opposite sensations. So when thinking of some painful memory, she thought about that incident, and then she started hearing the beeping sound of the machine that is connecting to one's body in the hospital to keep a check of the heart rate. She heard this sound continuously till the Yoga Nidra was over, and after that session she asked me about the sound, which she thought was coming out of some corner of the room. This sound obviously no one else heard, and then after probing a little she could relate that sound to that incident. After this she was advised to practice that Yoga Nidra a few times, and then she shared that she now understood why she was scared while her husband or son was driving. After the practice of Yoga Nidra, she could completely overcome the fear. So that's really interesting, something that's been held inside so deeply, and probably there's a lot more healing that came from that as well. The next one, a student, 50 years of age, a teacher by profession, suffered from severe blood pressure problem during COVID times because she had to start taking online sessions and had to prepare slides, etc. on the computer. With her limited knowledge of technology, it made her blood pressure shoot up. After practicing Yoga Nidra, designed especially for management of blood pressure issues every day, and also practice asanas daily, her health got better soon and gave her the confidence to learn that new technology. And the next one, so a pregnant student had lots of anxiety and stress about labour because of how the process is portrayed in the movies and television soaps. And we know that it's a major problem for women who are pregnant to have a lot of fear of childbirth. So she started practicing Yoga Nidra, designed with visualization of an easy birthing process and a sankalpa of labour being a very smooth journey for her and for her baby, which she repeated after every mantra chanting and meditation and whenever she remembered. So her labour was very smooth and lasted only for 3 hours and with bearable pain. So that's really lovely that she could have a normal labour and birth without all of the fear. And that's where, for pregnancy, it's important to start doing Yoga Nidra early on to start clearing that anxiety and that fear that can be inside. And this is our last one for this session. So it's from Manish. So Hari Om. Yoga Nidra has been an intrinsic part of my yoga classes since my TTC course at Yoga Vididham. Needless to say, it's mainly because all the students simply love it and have come up to me several times to share their experiences. Many have asked me to record and share so they could use it even later. One such person asked me if I could meet one of her friends who was in the terminal stages of cancer and was in a lot of pain and unable to sleep. I readily agreed. At the hospital, after the initial introductions, I requested others to leave. She was as such lying in her bed. I just held her hand, asked her to close her eyes, and just follow my instructions. I commenced with the Yoga Nidra, and I realized that within a few minutes, her stress lines from her face eased, she relaxed, and slowly fell asleep. After I finished the session, I slowly released my hand and quietly left the room. A few hours later, my friend called me up and told me that her friend had the best sleep in the last several weeks. Subsequently, she used the Yoga Nidra audio till the very last few days of her life. Well, I know that Yoga Nidra is not meant to make one fall asleep, but I think that that was the best effect that I've experienced till date. Subsequently, I've used it on several others who were either unwell or had difficulty in falling asleep, and there's been none till date who hasn't been benefited by it. So I think that's a really nice way to end, and to see that Yoga Nidra can benefit so many different people in so many ways. So I hope that you'll continue to spread Yoga Nidra to all. Hari Om.